people saying like the GDPR presentation was fun and interesting is not a sentence that's often said, I think. I was junior, like super junior, like a baby developer. So they needed to have some time in order to help me get up to speed too.
Are there things what you think engineers should know about law?
Oh, that's a really broad question.
Give me a second.
So much data, and then you all need to put it in a list. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That really is crazy.
That's why you fled to engineering.
Now it's
No
time.
more emails.
Welcome, Loes. Welcome in the studio today.
Yeah.
Really happy to have you, to be honest. I think it was 2 weeks ago right now. Spaces Summit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
2 weeks and 1 day ago.
2 weeks Monday. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I actually was in the crowd. I had a look into this talk of yours, or we will dive into in a second for sure. And honestly, really, really loved it. I think it was a really fun and really cool talk about GDPR. Something that's not, well, the most obvious topic you would envision immediately as an engineer. But it was super fun to just dive into and just see, well, whatever it brought to you and how you transitioned it into engineering.
Thanks.
So that was lovely, and honestly super happy to have you on the podcast today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. And
Yeah.
it's a big surprise to me. Like, even people saying like the GDPR presentation was fun and interesting is not a sentence that's often said, I think. Maybe you're the first one ever, so...
Yeah, well, at least it stuck to me though, so that's a good sign, I would say.
Yeah.
But welcome. Yeah, maybe we can start off with introducing you.
Yeah. Well, I'm Loes, which you guys know. I'm 34 years old, the age where you have to think about how old you are. Living in Amersfoort with my husband and my cat. And I'm a software engineer at Bol, doing front-end.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But there's more to the story, right?
There's more to the story. Yeah, I've been a front-end engineer now for 1 year and 10 months. And before that, I was at legal, actually.
Legal?
Legal, yes. So I began actually my whole career as an attorney at law at a fancy law firm in Amsterdam, wearing the heels, doing like due diligence and, closings and all that kind of stuff. And switched to Bol legal, where it became a lot less formal already. I could wear sneakers.
That's cool.
No due diligence anymore, just a lot of emails, a lot of calls.
Mm-hmm.
And 1.5 years ago, a bit more than that, I switched to IT.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I think a while ago I read your blog post about the switch from being in legal towards being a front-end engineer. And honestly, I haven't ever seen a jump like this. I think it's super fun to just see indeed how you made that switch.
Yeah.
And I'm also super curious indeed why and the things behind it. But like your background is then something attorney, legal. Like, what did you study?
I studied bachelor's in law and then master's in law. So and I did 2 masters, one in the Netherlands, because otherwise you can't become an attorney at law. So you have to have that master's degree. And then I also did a second master in Stockholm in law and information technology. So there's already a bit of an IT twist there.
Well, diverting a little bit to the dark side.
Yes, yeah.
So what does that mean? Does it mean it's law closer to the IT part of law? Well,
yeah.
Kind of?
What they always say when you go to like an open day of legal studies, like law school, they always say, legal is everywhere. And you're like, oh, this is some kind of like crappy marketing slogan. But actually it's quite real. Like everything, like even the couch you're sitting on is probably IP rights, right? It's like a copyright protected or there's a model right or whatever. You can't just make it. Like even the plants have like rights, you know? This recording, like you as a person, you have rights. There's a lot of rules here because we're at the workplace. So you have some labor laws. So there's a lot of law everywhere. And that counts, that's also the case for IT.
Yeah.
So the study focused mainly on, where law and IT meet. So that's like a lot of intellectual property laws, like piracy was a big thing when I studied. So the BitTorrents and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Guilty.
And also privacy just came up. Like the GDPR was not there yet, but there was a lot of privacy. Like it became more and more relevant within the law. And what else? I think I did my thesis, for example, about patent rights. If someone would invent warp speed, would they be able to patent it because it was already disclosed in Star Trek? So that was my thesis, for example.
Okay. Your thesis.
Yeah, so that was really cool, actually. I could quote even The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because I was like, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy actually is an ebook. But the ebook wasn't invented yet when the book was written, right? So
Good point.
if the ebook, well, then the ebook was invented, but was actually the Hitchhiker's Guide not already prior art? Because you can only patent something if it's not invented yet.
Yeah.
So like, where's the line?
But
That was
isn't
pretty cool.
everything based on something before you?
Yeah, prior art means if someone invented it before you, you can't put a patent on it, and it's quite broad. So for the Hitchhiker's Guide, they could patent the ebook because in the Hitchhiker's Guide they only describe like how it looks, but not how it functions in the inside. So there's the line. But for Star Trek, that's a bit more iffy because they do say that the calculations based on which warp speed is based in Star Trek actually can be mathematically correct. So if that is the case and we invent warp speed and Star Trek was right, well, I don't know if we can patent it, honestly.
That's crazy.
I never would have met that.
Every now and then I see on socials like, oh, but The Simpsons already did this like 10 years ago. I'm like, what? No, that's crazy. But that would have been, that's weird, like in a legal case, but
yeah, and that's the thing, right? I mean, a lot of people think that legal stuff is boring, but I mean, only that thesis alone is an example of law being quite cool already. It is an interesting question to do research into, and
a lot of loopholes as well. I can imagine.
I also found like one patent case for someone that wanted to patent like the Borat Mankini because he said it had like healing factor or something. It was denied, but they did actually also cite Borat in their denial of the patent. Like, but this was already invented in the Borat the movie.
No way!
Like, it's quite
and
crazy.
then sitting there as a judge is like, oh, what are we doing? Here? Is it 5?
You studied for 10 years and you have to look at Mankinis.
Borat again.
Well, those are the fun things, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, true.
Okay, and then going back to Stockholm, like because you did that masters.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you came in touch with IT, or how did your love of IT started?
Well, it was the first time I really got into depth, I guess. Before that, I was really into computers already. My dad is like doing a lot of like hardware, making chips and stuff. So we had like the first prototype of the mobile phone of Ericsson like in our house, which my mom then spilled coffee over and then it broke. And we had, of course, the floppy disks, and he was very much into all the new stuff. So we were on the internet quite early already, my sister and I downloaded a lot of illegal mods for The Sims 1 to get Lord of the Rings clothes in there. So that kind of stuff, but not like the programming. For me, that looked really complicated. I was just like, I can't do that. So I didn't even try, actually, which is a bit of a shame when I look back at it. But I was good at like history and geography and languages. So I was like, then legal studies makes sense because it is kind of a combination of all those factors like society, but also just reading a lot
True.
and being really careful with how you word things. So that's why I went into the legal part.
I think perfect competences indeed.
Yeah, no, indeed, that fits. But what puzzles me is, okay, I see where you're coming from. So with your history and everything, you're going to legal, but then the switch to tech, that kind of how, why, how did that happen?
A lot of people ask me that question, and also like when I started saying like, oh, I kind of want to switch to tech, people ask me like, but do you know people from IT?
What? They're in the shelter, you know?
I don't know how they meant that question, but then I said, I'm married to an IT guy, and my dad is one too. So they were like, okay, then you'll be fine.
Okay,
You know the risks.
You are warned, indeed.
But honestly, the real reason is I was already specialized also at Bol. I did mostly tech and data at legal. So I advised a lot about privacy matters, IT stuff. Like I did I think the first contract I did actually was GitLab when I started working at legal here, which now I use every day. So I finally get why it's important to have that tool. But I was always, when I advised people from IT, I always felt like this, I don't know if it's jealousy per se, it was not that negative, but I did feel like, I kind of want to sit on their side of the table and know what they know, because it just sounded very interesting and I didn't understand it completely. And I really wanted to understand. And that's how I kind of started niggling in my mind, like, maybe I could do that. So it wasn't really that I wanted to leave legal, because I still think it's super interesting. But it was more like I thought, this is an entire world that I don't completely get, and I kind of want to get it. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, it says a lot about you though, like curiosity and being sparked. I think that's That's cool because honestly, if I would turn it around, like I am a big fan of suits, of course. But I mean, if I see it, I'm like, okay, I would love to do this, but I'm not sure if I, because knowing all the stories and all the stereotypes that we have from, for example, legal has from engineers.
Yeah.
That would scare the shit out of me, to be honest. But it's super cool to see that for you, it mainly sparked curiosity and you were curious to the other side.
Yeah. But at the same time, I was very scared though. So I did like feel a lot of uncertainty and also just like, can I even do it? Like what you say about if you would switch to legal, like, is that something I could do? I had the same. So it was a thing in my mind, but I kept it in my mind for a very long time without uttering it to anyone because immediately I would just shut it down myself. Like, that's just a dream. Like, you didn't do the study for it. Like, why would you think you can do this?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have dreams about doing stuff, but not a lot of people actually do it. So what was the trigger that made you do it? Because as Tim said, he also liked things which are interesting. I also have some things in my mind which I think, that would be nice, but I'm not going to do it. But you actually did it. So what was the...
Yeah, I think the moment, like the trigger you said was, I got long COVID and I had it for almost 2 years.
Oh.
And then my life really like slowed down against my will. I couldn't do much. I couldn't even multitask. I couldn't drive a car. So I was just sitting at home. And that's when I felt like, if not now, then when? That was kind of the sentence that was really ringing in my mind. Like, I got the space in my mind to really think about it. And then I was just like, maybe I should just do it because I thought, well, maybe I'm too old, but at the same time, I mean, who knows when I'm going to retire, right? I still have like decades to go in IT. So even if I don't know anything, I have so much time to still learn and do it. So that's how I kind of just, how do you say it? Cut the knot? I don't know. I just did it. And I told my manager, which was maybe the most scary part, honestly, because then I, of course, discussed it a bit already with my husband, but I needed to talk with my manager, and I was maybe she's gonna just laugh at me. Like, I want to become a front ender. She will just be like, "Ha, nice joke. Okay, get back to your contracts and your terms and conditions." But that didn't happen, and that's so weird. I'm still surprised by that, honestly.
Yeah, that's so nice. Because from the moment you told your manager and you started the onboarding or the change, how did that how did you dove into like this new thing? Because did you had to follow courses or study, or how did you? Well, what happened?
Yeah, well, before I talked to my manager, I did did some courses by myself just to verify if I really, really, really wanted it. Because I also decided once I wanted to play piano, and I did it for like 2 weeks, and then I stopped. You know, so so I started with like this basic JavaScript course on the internet. I mean, there's so many courses on the internet, so I just did one, and I kept that going for months, and did some CSS and some HTML, just like the basics.
Yeah.
And then I realized, okay, apparently I really enjoy this because otherwise I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I talked to my manager, and when I spoke with her, she said, "All right, let's do it." And then it started with, well, more like the formalities, going to like people and to HR and see what was possible, because I was like a weird case, right? I was like a guinea pig. Nobody knew what to do with me. They were like, a legal counsel wanting to become a software engineer. Like,
where is this on the map?
Is there a typo in this email? This is not correct. So they didn't actually have a process in place for that switch in the first place. So we all have to we had to figure it out ourselves a bit together with HR and of course the people from IT, because they have to be involved in this too.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
That's really cool. I wish I could read the emails from HR going on like, oh, what? Okay, interesting, but we'll figure it out.
Is it 1st of April?
Yeah, but it's nice.
Yeah, but did you were able to start at a team, or did you had to do something?
Yeah, they were like, okay, we need to find a place for you.
Yeah.
So I talked with some engineering managers to see if they maybe had a spot for me, and then I found an engineering manager who said, okay, I will discuss it with the team, and if they say yes, you're welcome. Because they did know, like, I wasn't like a person coming from like a computer science studies or something. I was junior, like super junior, like a baby developer. So they needed to have some time in order to help me get up to speed too. So I really appreciated that the team actually said yes. So that's the team I'm in now, team customer self-service. And then they were like, okay, let's get started on the 1st of January. So I heard it like just before Christmas. So it was like, oh shit, now it's getting real.
Oh, wow. Should have been a cool moment though. Nice Christmas gift?
Yeah.
Or were you like...
Well, it was a bit stressful because they did say, okay, you first have to do a coding boot camp in order to get the basics, because we want you to get some like education, just to get immersed in the world of tech.
Yeah.
And there was one starting at 14th of January or something. So I had to like get that like training contracts and all the approvals from HR and everything ready before New Year's, but after Christmas. So that was a very stressful week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's hard, yeah.
But I mean, that's also really cool. Like the person I talked with from HR, he was just like, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. So it was all very much can-do, positive attitude.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Wow, nice.
Yeah.
Did you join the Advent of Code that year?
The what?
The Advent of Code? You don't know one?
No.
It's like a yearly, it's super random, but it's like in December, I think the 1st of December, you get some sort of Advent calendar for coding challenges. So every day you get a new coding challenge, and some teams will also solve them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Maybe we should look into it for the front-end community, but it's super nice. You get
really
like
cool.
JavaScript riddles, and you can compete against each other and see who can
That
solve
sounds
it.
good. I like competitions.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's a nice Christmas gift. But nice though. And then, well, you started the 1st of January. Was it a Monday?
I think I don't know.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And talk me through that day or that week.
Well,
how was it?
It was a weird week actually, because a lot of the people from my team were on vacation, and I didn't have my the right access rights yet, and I didn't have the right laptop yet. So I was just sitting there with like my old Windows laptop, and I couldn't really do much. So honestly, until the bootcamp started, I was just doing more courses.
I see.
Getting to know people a bit. And then after the bootcamp, I got back at like end of March or something. Then it really started. So that was the first time I was really going to the office, sitting with my new team, doing like new stuff, participating in the sprint, that kind of stuff. So that was, for me, that feels more like the start at IT than in January, honestly, because I didn't really see much people during the bootcamp. I was just coding in Amsterdam somewhere.
Yeah, nice. Good experience?
Yeah, I think so. It was quite tough, to be honest, because it was 5 days a week in Amsterdam, starting quite early until quite late. So I had like days where I had to get up at 6 and I was back home at like 8 or something.
Felt like a lie again.
So yeah, that felt a bit like being back at the law firm again, but without the nice pay.
I see. Yeah.
But it was really useful because it was the first time that I was 24/7 only, like I dreamt about stuff like a race and something. It was crazy, but it was really good to just switch that mindset a bit, because of course I'm educated with a legal mindset, which is really useful also in IT, but you do need that, like if you have something you want to make, you do have to get a different mindset, of course.
Yeah,
true.
Know how to make it.
So how does sorry,
go ahead.
So does the things you have learned at legal, do they help you in any way in coding?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of similarities already, honestly, between legal and IT. For example, writing a contract, you make definitions in the beginning, and then you have to be really precise in using those definitions throughout the contract so that they all have the same meaning. So it's kind of like variables in a way.
Yeah. Indeed,
So that's already kind of interesting. And you see a lot of if-else too. Like in contracts, you want to cover all the situations. So it's like, if this happens, then... So the way you structure things in a contract is already quite similar to code, actually. So that already helped me, I think, quite a bit.
Yeah, and the eagle eye, like the focus for detail, eye of detail.
Details, yes, yes. Because if you forget something in a legal contract, you can be really... you can have a bad time.
Yeah, definitely.
But a big difference, of course, is with code, if it's not working, you will just see it immediately. And you can write a really bad contract and we'll only find out if something goes wrong. That's the big difference. And that's what I really like, actually, about tech, because I do get immediate, like...
instant feedback.
You can always improve your code, but at least you know, like, it's working or it's not working. It's Boolean, you know? And with, like, legal... it's
gray
You
area.
never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And until a judge says something about it, you will never know if you're compliant enough, if your contract is 100% safe enough, which is not a goal that can be reached in the first place. But
True.
you just advise people, like as a legal counsel, I just advised people about something, but I never knew fully if it covered everything it needed to be covered.
Yeah.
That's a big difference, I think.
Yeah, it's quite funny because I think as front-ender as well, quite often you do have to implement things that are compliant against legal. For example, on, I don't know, let's say sponsored products, there have to be some sort of description, like who paid for this, who was the advertiser, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the DSA stuff.
Yeah, and I think that
Yes.
also brings a lot of really fun things of like, okay, but what if that technical service doesn't work and we can't show it? What is the scenario in that case?
Yeah.
Did you encounter these kind of things within customer service?
Well, colleagues of mine worked on the DSA flow, so I didn't have much to do with that. But one of my first stories was actually implementing a sentence in the registration form to make certain terms and conditions be applicable. So that was pretty fun. And there it really actually helped that I was a legal counsel because, well, firstly, the people asking me were my previous colleagues, so I could just immediately chat with them very easily. But also I thought, okay, I need to put this live, but when do they want to put it live?
Yeah.
And that's something my colleagues, for example, didn't really consider because they were just like, well, they want the text on there, so let's put it on there. But actually, for them, it was really important to have it on a certain date because of, well, back then they want to, like the date of which terms and conditions apply or when they go in, it's really relevant information to know. So you need to know.
Good to know.
So those kinds of things really help me, I think, in my engineering job now.
Yeah, well.
Are there things what you think engineers should know about law?
Oh, that's a really broad question.
Give me a second.
Because
yeah, good one.
the only thing I did, I think, as engineer was adding the file about privacy. You know, there's kind of a file with where you state in this site, these are the things we do with your information.
Yeah, the privacy policy.
The privacy policy, yeah, that was the name.
I contributed to the text when I was still at legal.
Okay. Well,
Nice.
Yeah. Well, that's a really important one, of course. I mean, the legal pages should always be there, like especially the privacy policy, because we are legally required to inform people about what we do with their personal data. So if the privacy policy is offline, we're not informing people anymore, and we're not we're not compliant with the GDPR on that part. So you don't want that to happen. Same with the cookie policy, you know.
Yeah, that's tricky. I've touched it once.
Yeah.
I was like, I was not aware I had to fill in a huge document I think we have for, this is what we're changing in the cookie. This is the reason, and please legal, have a look, sign it, or change whatever we need.
Yeah.
That was also an eye-opener to me, to be honest. And what do you think of the full AI revolution right now? Because that's also really in between what does legal think of it and what does engineers do with it? And I feel like there are currently a lot of gray areas there, right?
Yeah, honestly, from the legal side, I know there's a lot of AI legislation and stuff going around, but that was mainly going on during my transition to engineering, and I just focused on the engineering part and not so much the legal part.
Makes sense.
But in general, I mean, I do know a lot of people that would just copy parts of their code in ChatGPT. Legal-wise, that's not something you want, because everything you put in there will be it's just going on a big pile of data that they use. Yeah. So if you have something really cool or inventive, they will just advise other people that cool and inventive solution. In the end. So that's not something you want.
Yeah, it's funny if you just keep an eye on the news regarding AI and technology. You're like, well, okay, people have no idea yet what they're doing or what the legal policies behind it are.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Isn't it also AI also a threat for the legal profession? Because instead of a lawyer, you can just...
Woof.
I don't know.
I don't think that will ever happen, actually.
Okay.
There were lawyers, I think, in the US, but maybe also in the Netherlands nowadays, that they made their subpoena or their dagvaarding. I don't know the English word, actually. But they made it with I don't know, AI, ChatGPT or something. And then it was just citing all these court cases that didn't exist. That's not something you want in the court of law, because then you will not... Well, your case will not be...
will be dismissed. Or
it will be dismissed.
Yeah.
Or at least you will not win, for sure.
Yeah.
So you always have to have your own mind on it.
Yeah.
And especially with legal stuff, a lot of it is subjective or at least interpretive, you know? The law is quite short.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of court cases that kind of say what it actually means. If you have a court case about something that's not really clear yet, because often then you go to court. If it's clear, you don't have to go to court, right? It's quite subjective. So you have to argue for what you think it should be interpreted as, right? But for those subjective things, I don't think ChatGPT or AI in general is the best source. You have to be create arguments and not get arguments from like this big data stack of arguments that are previously used. You have to be innovative. Maybe the AI will come to a
can push you in a direction,
maybe, but right now I would say no. And especially, I mean, if you look at like writing boring documents or templates, I think AI would be great for that. But also as a legal counsel, like if you would like reach out to legal here and say like, oh, we have an issue with, I don't know, in one of the warehouses, a sprinkler came on. So what should we do? And you would just get like a ChatGPT answer back. That doesn't help anyone, right?
No, I agree.
You kind of want a human there that's like, okay, maybe then you should contact that and that person, and maybe let's check these rules there, and it's, I don't think they're replaceable. Just as engineers are not replaceable by AI yet.
No, fully agree. That's funny. All right, but let's dive into Spaces Summit, the internal conference that we of course have at Bol here.
Yes.
Where you did a really cool talk. So remember of the title again.
The GDPR, but make it fun.
There we go.
There we go.
2 words I wouldn't put in one sentence, right?
Exactly.
Like you mentioned. So can you give a small TLDR of the talk? If you've missed it, what was it?
Yeah. Well, the goal of my talk was to make the GDPR fun, which is, I think, important because a lot of people, when I talk about the GDPR, about the GDPR, they just look at me like a bit scared or sleepy. It's either one of them, right?
I'm guilty.
They kind of don't want to deal with it, so they're just like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Don't just let me code, But it is really important. We want to be compliant, and not just because you want to avoid the fines, but also because we want to respect our customers, right? They give us their data. We need to treat it in the right way.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to convey to my colleagues of IT. Like, if you're working with data, please know that the GDPR applies and that there are certain rules you need to take into account. And I couldn't discuss all the rules with them because I only have 30 minutes, but I did pick out like 6 really basic rules to just keep in mind when you're working, so that if one of those like subjects gets triggered, that you get like an alarm in your mind, and you're like, oh, maybe I should go to IT security or legal for this. So you don't have to solve it. You don't have to be an expert even, but just know when to go to the experts. That was, well, the main message of my talk.
Yeah.
And how did you make it fun?
Yeah. Well, I tried to techify it. So those 6 rules I talked about, I translated them into code. So that's already, then you see people like their eyes lighting up, like, oh, I recognize this language,
All the nerds.
I'm legal now.
And I made like a fake GDPR pipeline with like jobs running, and each job was a rule. So that also helps with like making it a bit more interesting for you. Like it's more part of your like tech world,
Yeah.
And then also a lot of just regular fun stuff like memes, using GIFs. Shall I tell you the first one?
Please
The first rule is no hoarding.
Yeah.
Well, the reason my father-in-law came into being, or in the story, was because he has like his shed and he puts it, just everything he thinks might be useful once in the future. Sometimes he just puts it in the shed.
Yeah.
And if you just
a shed like this,
yes, exactly. I think everybody knows a person with a shed like that, or has a shed like that.
True.
But if you replace all that stuff with data, that's the rule. Like you should never just gather data because it might be useful in the future, because you don't have a legal ground actually then to get that data in the first place. So that's the first rule I talked about in my talk.
Yeah, which is honestly really, like, when I heard this one the first time, I was really surprised. Because like I think there's another point in your, but you should talk us through. But I think there was also a point that you mentioned, if you already have the data, you can use it for a different purpose. Yeah. You should know it or register it up front. And I was like, ooh, that's really good to know, because honestly, I wouldn't know. Well, maybe you can explain it better, but that was an eye opener to me.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's the second rule indeed. That's the
nice
rule.
bridge.
No, just because it's there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it is very attractive. Like when you see data lying around in a database and you need it for something, you're like, oh, nice, we already have it. Let's use it. But actually, the GDPR does not necessarily allow you to use it that way because of the principle of purpose binding. So if you collect data for a certain purpose, you can't just use that data for another purpose as well. Because first you need to do then a legal check to see if there's actually a legal ground for that purpose as well.
Yeah.
So if we get, I don't know, phone numbers from our customers because, I don't know, we're delivering a big washing machine and we need to call them about the delivery time, something like that.
Yeah.
We can't also use those same phone numbers suddenly to call them on their birthday to say happy birthday, because that's a different purpose. They didn't sign up for that.
Shit.
Yeah.
Learned something again.
Yeah, but
Nice.
it's funny because it makes a lot of sense, right, from privacy law, but it is also weird, like contradicting, because you think as a company, but this is nice, like we can use it and we can make someone happy, someone smile.
Yeah.
But you're making just how would you say it? You were exceeding law. Now you're being fined. Now you're crossing the line. I don't know what it's called. You're doing something that's not in line with GDPR.
Yeah. It's in compliance. Yeah.
So that was just really good to know, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is common sense, if people know this.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, I get it from a certain point of view, because you're like, but we're making their lives better and easier. So why would this not be compliant? But the law doesn't look at whether it's nice for the person. It just looks like, is there a legal ground for this, among other things, of course. And if there's no legal ground, well, then even though you want to do something nice, it's just bad luck. You can't do it.
But how does it work then? So you have some data and you think of a new idea and you want to do it, and that data could be useful, but do you have to re-ask it to the customers?
Well, as an engineer, I would just go to, or like as a PM, I would just go to legal and let them figure it out.
Okay.
There are multiple legal grounds you can process data on. One of them, which is really common, at least known, not common, but known, is consent, of course. But you also have things like gerechtvaardigd belang, so that's like legitimate purpose, which is a really vague one, where you have to argue that your purpose is more important than the privacy right of the person you're getting the data from.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a difficult one. But also things, for example, even like if it's mandatory by law, for example, or employee data, a lot of it is processed by BOL because they need to, based on the rules of the tax authority, stuff like that. You also have vital interests. So that's, for example, if someone is dying and you need their, you need to check their ID in order to get them the help that they need.
Yeah.
And then you're also, of course, if you look at an ID, you're processing data. You need a legal ground for that. Then it's vital interest. So you have a lot of different grounds. Contracts. That's also, of course, one.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's like a whole different universe to me.
But does that mean, like, for a big company, that they have like a huge document with every field of data from the customer, like it's used for this?
Yeah, actually, that's the data processing registry. That's a requirement actually under the GDPR, that every company that's processing personal data has to have a registry explaining for each data what they do with the data, for which purpose, how long they keep it, so the retention period, everything.
Wow.
So I think when the GDPR got adopted, that's one of the things the companies were really freaking out about, because it's so much work. Like I had to like update it when I was still working at legal, and I counted it. I had sent like more than 1,500 emails just to get the information I need.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
That's like it's also a prime example of lawmakers thinking, oh, this is probably helpful, but not thinking about like the practicality of it. Like for small companies, it's really like straightforward probably. But at BOL, we have so much kinds of data from all kinds of people, like not only like the customers that buy stuff at our platform, but also the partners, the employees, suppliers. We have so much data, and then you all need to put it in a list. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That really is crazy.
That's why you fled to engineering.
Now it's
no more emails.
Now at engineering, we have to fill in like forms in order to feed the data processing registry. So I'm just sitting on the other side now.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
And then still as front-ender, we're quite in a luxurious position because we don't store that much.
No, that helps. That helps. So I don't have a lot of stories where I actually have to talk to my legal colleagues about stuff, because front end, it does come sometimes, like you said before with the DSA, it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have legal requirements, but it's the privacy part is not so much relevant,
Yeah, true.
unless of course you cause a data breach by showing data on the website. That's
That's also not
a
really
different story.
That's a different story. Yeah, nice. And are there any other really interesting parts about the pipeline?
Oof. Which one did you find the most interesting?
The one where it's based in Europe.
Yeah, the international data transfers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. IT security loves that one as well.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be the case that didn't really matter where you put your data. But with the GDPR, that's of course a different story, because it only applies within the European Economic Area. So if you put data outside of it, it would be a nice loophole if you can just put all your data in a server somewhere in, I don't know, the USA, and then you're like, okay, the GDPR doesn't apply anymore. I'm safe. So they made a lot of requirements, formalities, checks that you need to do in order to be able to actually transfer your data to outside of the European Economic Area.
Mm-hmm.
Not only contract stuff, but also like really checks about even the level of privacy in that country and which laws would apply, security measures. So it's a big circus nowadays in order to do that. So that's my advice, like to every engineer, to make also the lives of your legal colleagues easier and your IT security people easier, is to, if you can do it within the EU, do it within the EU.
Yeah, for sure. Because like when I was in the audience, the question that raised to me was like, how do, for example, huge companies that have an operation worldwide, for example, Meta or Facebook, do they apply to the highest standards like Europe, for example, has? Or do you think, in the US, we're chilled, we're not doing much for GDPR purposes, but in the EU, we should?
Yeah. If even if you're a company that's only abroad, if you're targeting European citizens and you're processing or monitoring their data, the GDPR still applies to you. So that's actually why, for example, also with the cookie banners, like when that regulation got adopted, some like foreign internet websites were not available anymore to European citizens, and that's why. So with the GDPR, I mean, in theory, foreign companies targeting us should comply with the GDPR. If that happens in practice, that's of course a different question.
Yeah.
Especially if they're mostly based abroad, like Data Protection Authority can send them a letter or a fine, but if they say no, I won't do it, well, what will happen?
Yeah, makes sense. Because you mentioned you have to be within Europe, right? So, for example, if I would it's a different case, but if Bol messes up like their consent, for example, and they're doing stuff with my data that I didn't give consent for, but at that point in time I'm in Brazil.
Yeah.
Then I can't strike or file a claim or something, or I can't.
Well, no, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's but if you, for example, I don't know, do something in Indonesia and you give your data there to a company.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, but I'm a European citizen. I have my right to be forgotten. They can just be like, yeah, that's all nice for you, but the GDPR doesn't apply here. So good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's definitely something I've learned though.
Yeah, a lot of learnings from this whole other world.
But I think that's super nice to you said you were a baby engineer giving back to the team, but I think this is also amazing to give this actually back to like the front end community.
Thanks.
With the inside knowledge that you're having, because I had no idea. I could have easily made a mistake here. Yeah. And it's super cool to just hear your journey and your big dive into the engineering world.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And how do you still happy with your choice after 2 years?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
For sure. Yeah, I have no doubts.
Yeah.
I mean, I do sometimes miss legal just because I'm not as up to date as I used to be, of course. Yeah. And I still find it very interesting. And also they get like the first deeds of everything happening at Bol. Like they know where the party will be because they did the contract. And I don't know that stuff anymore now. So it's a bit more of a bubble within IT, I think, because at legal, I advised everyone in the company. And now I'm just mainly working, within our own product, of course. But I don't know. I just really liked it. I just love the whole world of IT. I like the cool stuff we do, and I just like creating things. And as a front-ender, then you can actually see the things you're creating live on a website, and I think that's just such a cool feeling. That's
instant gratification.
A lot of dopamine.
Instant gratification. Yes, that's definitely the word.
So maybe do you have maybe advice or tips for people who also dreaming but doubting about take the step?
I think first thing is verify if your dream is serious or not. Like, do you just want to play piano like I did, or is it like really serious?
Smart.
So check it out first by yourself. Just do some coding stuff, or if you want to become a legal counsel, just read into some law stuff. Think, do I still find it interesting after a few months? And if the answer is yes, well, I guess it really depends on what you want to do, of course. For me, the first step was talking about it with my manager, because I was fortunate enough to work for a company that had both worlds in one, right?
Yeah,
I could just switch departments. That's not the case for everyone. But I think in general, just be brave, just try it. Like, what's the worst thing that could have happened for me? Probably that my manager would laugh at me, and then I would just continue coding by myself and maybe find an internship somewhere, or there's always an option. So I think it's, just take yourself seriously.
Great.
That's really cool, though. It's inspiring, to be honest.
Thanks.
I like it, and really happy to have you in the front-end community. I think it's super nice, and thanks for being here, though. Like again, like it's the third time saying it, but I learned a lot, though. Really liked your talk and your enthusiasm about like both sides. I think that's also super nice. So thanks for being along, and can't wait to see more of you.
Yeah, thanks. Really love being here.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, thank you for your story, for sharing, and for your advice. And I'm wondering what's next for you.
Yeah, me too. Maybe CTO one day.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. Sounds good. I'll sign it. Thanks, Loes.